Hi, I'm Sinéad Carroll from Irish Blogger Agency, and you're listening to the Social Media Talks podcast with Alan Hennessy from compassmedia.ie.
Before we begin this episode, we'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors and also our supporters. The Social Media Talks podcast is sponsored by Content Cal, creating a solution to simplify and speed up how teams can plan, collaborate on, approve, publish and analyze social media content in a familiar and intuitive calendar interface. In just 3 years, they have been trusted by over 10,000 businesses and agencies in 110 countries to deliver social media content at scale and have recently won an award for the Content Management Tool of the Year. For more information on Content Cal, visit their website at contentcal.io. We would also like to remind you the Social Media Talks podcast is proudly supported by charityradio.ie, one of Ireland's leading online radio stations supporting charities across Ireland for free. And now, this week's episode.
Welcome to Social Media Talks podcasts, brought to you by compassmedia.ie.
Hello and thank you for joining me. This is the Social Media Talks podcast, brought to you by compassmedia.ie, episode number 80. I'm your host, Alan Hennessy, and this is the podcast to help business owners who want to learn more about social media marketing. And if you'd like to listen to any of our previous podcasts, you can log on to our website at compassmedia.ie/podcasts. You can also join our Facebook group by logging on to facebook.com/groups/social media talks. And we're looking forward to today's show. Today I'm going to be joined by Sinéad Carroll. And Sinéad Carroll is the CEO of the Irish Bloggers Agency. And after 15 years of career in banking and finance, in 2015, Sinéad established one of Ireland's first dedicated agencies for digital influencer marketing. Irish Bloggers Agency is the home of over 500 vloggers and bloggers and social influencers. Irish Bloggers Agency is a web-based platform that allows brands to collaborate with online influencers and social media content creators. Since 2013, Sinéad has been immersed in digital marketing and blogging industries, running her own fashion, beauty and lifestyles blog, and founder of the highly successful bloggers network called Into the West Bloggers Network in 2014. Sinéad has seen firsthand the power of influencers combined with the gap in the market for a dedicated digital influencers agency in late 2015, and the Irish Bloggers Agency was born. Over the years, Sinéad has implemented successful influencer marketing strategies and campaigns with a broad range of brands within the beauty, hospitality, retail, food, lifestyle and financial services industries. She has also been nominated for the Accenture's Digital Media Awards in the category of Best Brand and Company Using Digital. She has also received an award for an outstanding contribution to the Irish bloggers by Waverley Academy, and these have just been a few of the highlights to date for Sinéad. And today we're going to be talking all about the rise of influencer marketing in Ireland. And we're looking forward to this conversation. So do hope you can stay with us. And without further ado, I think we will transition straight over to the interview with Sinéad. Hi Sinéad, how are you? Thanks for joining us today on the Social Media Talks podcast. It's a pleasure to have your company. How are you?
Great, Alan, and thanks for having me on your podcast. Delighted to be on.
Brilliant stuff. And of course, we know each other a good while now. We've worked on numerous projects, and including the public sector digital marketing summit as well. But for anyone who doesn't know you, which I find hard to believe, if you could maybe give us a little bit of a brief background on yourself before we get started stuck into our chosen topic today, and we're going to be talking all about the rise of influencer marketing in Ireland. So looking forward to finding out more about this. But if you can tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started.
Yeah, so my name is Sinéad Carroll. I started up Irish Blogger Agency back in 2015. I had been working in banking and finance all my career. So I was 15 years in banking and finance. So you'd wonder how I went from banking and finance to setting up one of Ireland's first dedicated agency for digital influencer marketing. So the story behind that is I was made redundant in my banking job back in 2015. And from there, I was immersing myself in digital marketing and blogging. So I also ran a blog while I was working in the bank. So I was banker by day and a blogger by night. I had a fashion and lifestyle blog, Yummy Mummy, fashion and lifestyle blog. Still doing Instagram posts from time to time, but nothing major on the blogging front. But I had built up a network of bloggers in the west of Ireland. I'm based in Galway. Back in 2013, we had, together with Cy Vegan, one of my partners at the time, business partners at the time, we set up Into the West Blogger Network. And we went from having 20 influencers or bloggers at our first event in the G Hotel to 130 a year later back in the same location in the G Hotel in Galway. So we were bringing influencers and bloggers from all around the country to network and to meet brands. So from there, when I left the bank, I was, ready to start seeing where this could take me. And I seen a niche in the market, and I set up an agency for influencers. And today then I have over 500 plus influencers on our platform throughout Ireland. There's some even from the UK and beyond on the platform. So it's growing daily.
Wow, that's fantastic. Really, really is a fantastic story as well. And of course, I've often seen like bloggers and influencers as well. And you're always sort of saying to yourself, where do I find these people? How do I find these people? What is it? How do I connect with them and whatever? So I think, your agency having this facility here to be able to do this is phenomenal. But I think where we probably should start is so what is an actual influencer marketer?
So probably the easiest way to describe it is influencer marketing really. What is influencer marketing? You use it to amplify your brand. So it identifies and targets individuals with influence over customers. So there's people out there on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all talking about their passion and their interests and sharing their story. And what has happened over time, some quicker than others, they've grown to get followings of 1,000, 10,000, hundreds of thousands. And with their following and their audience growing organically, we can then use their audience and their value to direct traffic to your business then, if you engage with an influencer.
And I think it's vitally important, of course, like as normally we would talk about social media, digital marketing here on the podcast. And I think this is it's a key component of marketing plans, everything to do with your business as well. If you want to get visibility, there's no better way than having, as you say, an influencer that's going to project your brand as much as anything else. But it's also as well about them gaining visibility for their business as much as anything else.
Yeah, totally. So instead of a brand new business setting up their own Instagram and trying to get out there and create brand awareness, they can use the audience of the influencer, and then they can provide traffic to their website that way and grow that way. So with my business and my platform, we have sophisticated technology that enables us to identify these influencers, and we can also then measure the campaigns also through a simple dashboard. We can also show transparency is guaranteed, so everything is connected with their APIs, so the influencers upload their profiles to our platform, so you see genuine and up-to-date live data on the influencer, whether it be their reach, their demographics, what category they fall into, if they've worked on other campaigns. That's all visible through my platform here at Irish Blogger Agency.
And I think it's vitally important, being able to have that facility there is really, really good. And you know, like as you say, with your dashboards and stuff like that, you can measure these things. And you know, as I always say, you can't manage what you can't measure. So being able to understand, I suppose, the data behind, you know, your campaigns and stuff like that is really, really important as well. With regards to, say, influencers that are in Ireland, and you know, especially this in marketing as well, it's so important because there's so many different aspects of an influencer that I think is just, you know, you hear it every day of the week, people talking about influencers, and they're saying, oh, well, what's an influencer? I suppose it dispels the whole stigma around, oh, am I an influencer, or are you an influencer? Well, I think a lot of us are influencers in our own way. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, if you create any niche at all, so there might be fashion, beauty, lifestyle, just to name the most prominent ones at the moment. But if you can carve out a niche in that market and you can gain traction and get that audience to be interested in your content that you're putting out, quite quickly your followers will grow. And then once your followers grow and you can see engagement rates increasing, then you can be considered an influencer. So within Irish Blogger Agency, even somebody with 1,000 followers could have influence over their audience, because their audience are there for a reason. They're there to absorb the content that they're given. So conversion could be quite high. So what we do in Irish Blogger Agency as well, which is really important, is we invest time in selecting the right influencer for the right campaigns, as opposed to buying up on the personalities based on their following. So because
I was just about to ask that. Like, when you come to you, I presume like that it's not just, oh right, well, we have 100 influencers, pick from one of them. You actually go and you say, right, well, now this particular person is the right person for you, or these number of people are the right people that you should be talking to. I suppose the other question there is what makes a great influencer?
Definitely consistency is key, and authenticity. They're the two key things. You have to be real, because if you're fake online, you will get caught out straight away.
Oh, totally.
Be totally transparent. If you're doing sponsored content, make sure you adhere to the guidelines set out by the ASAI. Use your ad and your sponsored post, your work with hashtags, your paid partnerships. So you use them, and if you stay true to all of this, because influencer marketing is not going away, you know, there's opportunities out there for people to become influencers and to earn a living out of it. But to be transparent and honest and authentic and consistent, I think you'll succeed then.
Yeah, I think that's because I think that's a lot. That's very true, in the sense that, you know, because I know there's a lot of people that would listen to this and would maybe even say to themselves, you know, wow, well, I think I might give this a go. But I think you have to build up that credibility first before you can start becoming that influencer. And sometimes I've even seen, like, I've often been online and I would notice, you know, certain people around Ireland who would be tweeting or posting on Instagram, or, you know, whatever it may be, on Facebook or whatever, on LinkedIn, and you'd say to themselves, their content is really good. And when you talk to them and say, you know, you're a real influencer in what you're saying, and they go, I never really thought about it that way. So I think a lot of people as well start off just enjoying their content and just, you know, enjoy putting out good content, and then all of a sudden they start to get recognized for that. And I think there's others then that don't do it because they just say, oh, well, I'm going to get a million followers today and now I'm an influencer, when in actual fact, really, it's just a game that they're playing, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So we have talked about, obviously, if you want to become a digital influencer and you want to become an influencer in what way. I suppose the other side of that now is then for a company that's coming along and are sort of saying, right, okay, well, I need to build a campaign here, and that they come and talk to you. What are the processes that you would take them through?
Firstly, you would need to find out what their reason is for engaging influencers. If they're a new brand, they would want to have their website set up and their social media platform set up, because without them, you can't engage influencers, because it's purely online influencer marketing. Or you could engage, I suppose, an influencer to attend the launch or an opening, but to get the most value out of an influencer, be online and have a digital strategy in place. Know exactly what your objectives are, whether it be brand awareness, or whether it be, if you're an established brand, whether you want to get conversions and sales. So we can go through all of that. So we can help with like influencer placement. We can help with brand consultation. We can create innovative content strategies, and we can also help with the engagement support as well between the influencer and the brand. But for the brand itself, they need to know their budget and their key objectives and their goals goals first before we can put something together.
So it's more than just connecting influencers and what you do. It's more than just connecting that influencer with, with the actual company. So there's a huge amount that goes on before that as well, and also the support that you give as well, which I think is phenomenal.
So some businesses, bigger brands, would have their own in-house marketing team, so it would be a matter of just connecting the influencer and the brand, so they can take it from there. We just compile the list based on their requirements, and then in other instances the businesses may need to outsource that, so our team here can help with that as well.
Very good, very good. And of course, it's vitally important that, you come with all that information as well. And I know on your website, there's a huge amount of detail there that you can actually, I've had a look at the website, and obviously you can see that there is a huge amount of influencers on it. And you've broken it down very well to be able to, so we understand who it is we're looking for and what we can do. But I think the key point here is that it's knowing and having that marketing idea in your head, and then sort of just come to you, and you're going to give them a lot more structure around that. I think that's a huge bonus to what you do, and I think that's what differentiates you from other agencies as well. And like the fact that you're probably the only probably one of the leading ones in Ireland, if not I think the only one. I think, are we right in saying that?
In the last number of years, there's digital agencies who are now expanding into influencer marketing, and they would also do the act as the agent for the influencers, but they would probably be more the celebrity style influencers that have probably 100,000 plus followers. So my main database would be made up of micro influencers, which are between 1,000 and 20,000. So these influencers would hold a smaller reach than the larger influencers in their niche. But the major benefit of working with these influencers is they usually hold very high relevance and engagement and trust amongst their followers. So I think that's the angle I've covered off within my industry is the micro influencers. Yeah,
and I think we've talked to a lot of influencers on the podcast over the last number of years, and even at that, and there was one particular, I remember talking to one particular guest, his name escapes me now, but he did mention that, micro influencers are sometimes so much more better for a company because they have a very select, audience, and they know their audiences. And it's not just sort of like, because I think a lot of people will think, and I know, from personal experiences, is that if the types of the Kim Kardashians are promoting, a certain brand, that you're going to say, yeah, well, she's getting paid huge money for that, and that's all, and she's not interested. Whereas the micro influencers, they maybe still be getting paid, and they are getting paid for it, obviously, but at the same token, they're interested in the brand. They know about the brand, and I think they enjoy working with these particular businesses as well.
Yeah, that's so true, Alan, and that's what I find when I'm working with brands and connecting them with micro influencers. What happens is, in most cases, that the influencer becomes an advocate or a brand ambassador without even trying, because in the selection process we really can cut through the pack and find out who really is interested in working with the brand, and they're doing it for genuine reasons and not just for the money. They actually have a genuine interest in the product, the service, or the brand. And this is where we see relationships building up between brands and influencers, and they continue to work then together on an ongoing basis. A great working relationship between the brand and the influencer. So there's a win-win there for both of them.
Yeah, and I see that, you can see that with a lot of businesses around Ireland that are actually doing it, and I've noticed it even more so. It's become a lot more prominent over the last 1 or 2 years, because we had Mario Martinez on last week on the podcast, and he said this thing called the internet, it's not going away, guys, so you need to embrace it. And I think we all need to embrace that. And if we can get, I just think it's part of what we do. We should be engaging with influencers, with bloggers and people like that. This is what they do. They know what they're talking about. They know how to work their social media work, whatever it may be, their digital assets as well, to increase and work with you. So it saves you, it saves, I suppose, the customer as much as anything else, the time and the effort of trying to put in. Because I suppose if you look at it in a monetary point of view, is if you go and you employ someone to do all of that type of marketing, that's a wage every week. That's a salary that has to be paid. Whereas if you can actually say, right, okay, cut to the chase and get someone that actually is doing this, and it's actually going to save them money in the long run.
Yeah, and once you define your goals and you find the appropriate influencer, and then you give them some trust with the content they're creating, give them direction and reward them. Like, there's content created there for a long time that can be repurposed. You can have Instagram posts, Insta stories, your tweets, create hashtags and start building on that. So yes, there's massive scope for working with influencers and getting your marketing campaign set up for the months ahead. It can be part of your digital strategy.
And I think, like, I've looked at it myself, because even like when I'm like on Instagram, you're trying to be on Instagram, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do a story, you're trying to post on Instagram, you're trying to you're trying to do tweets, and it's very time consuming, but and I know, like, if you have the time, and if you, like, I know we're in the business of, that's what we do, so we're well clued into how to do that. But if you're running even a bricks and mortar shop or a business like that, you really don't have time to be sort of sitting there and saying, okay, right, well, I have to spend 6 hours this week doing all this content and being on the ball. And whereas you have these influencers that are there that are actually going to help you and create that visibility and, tell your story as much as anything else.
Yeah, and that's why we're here. We can help brands acquire passionate fans that can create this content for them and have a digital strategy for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months ahead. Yeah,
and I think it's great to have that. And of course, the website is Irish. Just let me so I'll get it right. It's irishbloggeragency.com, and all of that information is all there. And there's loads more as well, because I know you're very active in yourself with regards to talking about this, and you're a huge advocate of what you do, and and promoting it. So, I know I've seen you and talk at 1 or 2 events as well, and it's always really interesting, the type of content that you're putting out as well.
Yeah, look, as you said, there's no getting away from it. Influencer marketing is here to stay. My challenge now is to grow my database. There's 500 plus influencers on my database. If anyone listening out there is a blogger, a vlogger, a YouTuber, a social influencer, you can log on to irishbloggeragency.com. There's a join now button. You can upload your profile. So then it makes it easier for me to find you if a brand comes looking for somebody in a particular niche. There's loads of different niches. It's not just fashion, beauty, lifestyle. You can check it out there. There's even one for digital marketers and actors and comedians. So we're trying to get as many influencers up in the platform as we can, and from there then we hope to develop more contact with bigger brands and get more collaborations together within the Irish market and the UK and beyond.
Yeah, and it is, and like, that's great to hear, because automatically when you think of influencers, you think of, it's just social media influencers or digital influencers, whereas, as you say, there's a huge scope there for all different types of, I suppose, business and entertainment and stuff like that as well. So that's really, it's exciting as well, I'd say, for you on the other side of it, of that you're reaching out and you're connecting with all of these people as well.
Yeah, no, it's so exciting, and it's brilliant when you find a niche influencer and they can add value to a campaign you might not even have thought possible. So I love to think outside the box and think of ways to bring influencers together, not just with brands, but influencers collaborating with other influencers. And it's amazing the power of connection on social media. And long may it continue. And using the hashtags and all of that, so much fun as well. You can find people very easily and build up rapport with them online. So yeah, it's very exciting times ahead, all right, for the industry.
Brilliant stuff. And I think, as you say, it's amazing that we're talking here about influencers, and I was just wondering, do you have any case studies that you have done over the last that have been done over the last couple of months that you might like to give us a little bit more insight into them as well, of how they work these campaigns?
The most recent one to date would have been a campaign called Skip the School Run for Endless Fun. This was for a hospitality company in the west of Ireland. So they wanted to promote their hotel and all their offerings. So I was able to find and select a number of mom bloggers. So midweek we offered them a stay in the hotel, and we brought them around the Wild Atlantic Way for the day to show what was on offer around the area, and put them up for the night, gave them breakfast, dinner and tea. And then in return, they created valuable content for the brand that was shared on social media for probably 4 weeks afterwards. People were talking about it. There was blog content generated with link backs. There was Insta stories. There was Facebook Lives. All of that good content created on their social media platforms, and in turn the brand was then able to share it on their platforms and use it throughout their website as well, and it formed part of their digital strategy for the month. So there was the ways of repurposing that content as well when sharing the food or the bedroom. So that was a real good example of a campaign that worked really effectively. And we were able to measure return with the amount of engagement. Website traffic increased, and also the social media engagement increased quite significantly. And then we offered the influencers codes where their followers could book through the hotel through the code. And we've seen an uptick in sales as well from that. So yeah, that was a very successful one, fun one. It got the community involved as well. Other businesses collaborated with this particular brand that engaged the influencers. So there was a lot of community building as well. So there was a lot of planning to it. The selection process, we wanted mom bloggers, because for this particular campaign, to get away from the school run and the hectic life for the midweek. So the thought was put into the campaign, and then selecting the influencers, and then what content they'd create out of that. So yeah, it was a really good buzz.
Brilliant stuff. And like that, it just shows you as an example of what the Irish blogger agency can do for you. Like, and I think that is, that's a great example to show that how a brand has actually come on board, and you have connected the right people and created the right content. That I think that's invaluable to any business as well, for that reason,
Yeah.
So Sinead, at the end of every podcast, I ask my guests one simple question, and that one simple question hasn't changed over the last 70 odd episodes. And the question I pose to you is if you had the chance to invite someone to dinner, whether it be past or present, who would it be and why?
Ooh, let me see. I think I'd really love to go to dinner at this moment in time with Abraham Hicks.
Okay.
Her name is Esther Hicks. She's an American inspirational speaker and author. So I'm currently listening to her YouTube videos or messages every night, and it's all about the law of attraction and your mindset. So especially when you're an entrepreneur and you're working by yourself, you kind of reach out to these people for probably wisdom and support. So yeah, I find Abraham Hicks really easy and enjoyable to listen to at the moment, and I'd love to go out to dinner with her. Yeah,
brilliant
she can
stuff.
Bring her husband Jerry as well if he wants to come.
Oh well, and I'll come as well for that. Why not?
Can you make it happen? Yeah.
Well, you never know. She's probably listening to this podcast. So, at the end of the day, yeah. But that's great stuff. Sinead, how can people get in contact with you if they want to reach out to you?
Yeah, so you can find me on the World Wide Web, irishbloggeragency.com. You can also find me on social media, Facebook, Twitter or Instagram. Instagram being the preferred channel. We all have one favourite. And then by email at Sinead@irishbloggeragency.com.
Sinead, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today, and we wish you continued success in the future. And we will put, of course, all of the details that we've talked about here on the podcast into the show notes. So if you are trying to scribble down Sinead's numbers and her social media links as well, and anything that we've talked about here, you'll be able to find it all in the show notes on the website. And, it's all there, and the podcast and everything will be there. So saving you time and saving you energy. Sinead, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, and we shall talk to you very soon. So thanks for coming on the podcast today.
Pleasure has been all mine. Thank you, Alan.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for joining us today on the Social Media Talks podcast, and hopefully you learned some great information and also insights from our guests today. And if you'd like to listen to any of our previous podcasts, you can log on to our website at compassmedia.ie/podcasts. And all of our podcasts are available on all the usual podcast providers, including Stitcher Radio, Google Play, Mixcloud, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And we would be delighted if you would leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, as we are always thrilled to receive your feedback on any of the programs. You can also subscribe to the podcast there so you never miss an episode as well. And if you'd like the show notes for this episode or for any of the previous episodes, please log on to our website at compassmedia.ie/show notes. And if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, please do get in contact with us. All you have to do is email us at smtalks@compassmedia.ie. And if you'd like to find out more about the services that Compass Media provide, from social media marketing and training to podcast services, please visit our website for more details. You can also reach out and connect with me across all of the social networks, including Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and I will personally answer every one of your requests. That's about all for today. I've been Alan Hennessy from Compass Media for the Social Media Talks podcast, and we look forward to talking to you next week. And as I always say, be social. So until next week at the same time, bye-bye.
Social Media Talks podcast is a production from compassmedia.ie.